Hey everyone, in today's video, I want to cover the earnings limit rules that'll be effective for 2022, and then answer some of the questions that I've been asked a lot since I made the 2021 update video. So questions like, does the Social Security Administration look at single or joint income? What happens to benefits that are withheld if you go over the earnings limit? How is the earnings limit actually applied? When does the limit switch from an annual limit to a monthly limit? Should you tell the Social Security Administration if you are over the limit? Will the earnings limit affect spousal or children's benefits? And the big one, what kind of earnings actually counts as income? But before we jump into that, there are two things I want to tell you first. First, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you won't miss any of the new videos that we have coming out this year. In the near future, we're going to start seeing a lot of changes to Social Security. This isn't a maybe. It has to happen. And if any of it gets close to law, I'll make a video about it right here. And the second thing, I wanted to tell you about a new service that we are offering. If you're planning to file for Social Security and you want to make sure that you get all the benefits you deserve, you need to realize this is not a do-it-yourself project. There are thousands of possible filing combinations and nuanced rules that make each situation different. It's very clear that you need to get professional help before you file. And now you can get that help from my team of registered Social Security analysts. You can get started with a complimentary 15-minute consultation where they'll listen to your unique situation and let you know how our plan can cut through all the complexity and give you clear direction on your filing strategy. There's a link down in the description where you can schedule your call today. Okay, so the way I want to approach today's video is to jump right into the numbers that are effective for Social Security retirement benefits in 2022, and then answer the big questions that I get all the time on the earnings limit. Now, you want to stay tuned for these questions because this will be what ties it all together and makes it make sense. So before we jump into the earnings limit rules, there are two things you need to know. First, the rules we're discussing today only apply to Social Security retirement benefits, not SSI and not Social Security disability benefits. The second thing you have to know is that these rules only apply before your full retirement age. Once you reach full retirement age, there is no limit on earning. So it's pretty important then to know when your full retirement age is, because it can be different depending on your year of birth. For everyone born in 1954 or earlier, the full retirement age is 66. For every year after, it increases by 2 months until birth year 1960, at which point the full retirement age is 67. And in the current law, that's where it's going to stay. Now, with that background, here are the limits. If you make more than $19,560 in 2022, the Social Security Administration will withhold $1 in benefits for every $2 over that amount that you earn. The one exception is during the calendar year you attain full retirement age. The withholding amount on dollars earned over that limit is not as steep either. For every $3 over the limit, the Social Security Administration withholds $1 in benefits. So that's the earnings limit, but that's a very simplified explanation that probably left you with lots of questions. So let's get into the ones that you're probably asking in your head right now. First, does the Social Security Administration look at single or joint income? Most married couples are used to having all of their household income counted together in one big pot. For example, if you file your taxes as married filing jointly, earnings from both spouses are counted together to determine how much you owe in taxes. So it makes sense to wonder what happens if a spouse earns more than the Social Security income limit. How does that affect your benefits if you want to file early? Well, the simple but not fully complete answer is that joint income is not what's counted. The earnings test is an individual test. If you are married and each receive Social Security benefits from work you performed, your spouse's excess earnings cannot turn off your benefit. As long as the benefits you receive come from your own work history, they are insulated. For example, if your wife goes back to work, it may affect her benefit payment, but it won't affect yours. What happens to withheld benefits? Well, if your benefits are withheld because you exceeded the earnings limit, they aren't gone forever. At full retirement age, the administration will run a calculation that's called the adjustment to the reduction factor. This says that your ongoing permanent benefit can only be reduced for those months you received a Social Security check. So the months where you didn't receive a benefit due to being over the income limit, They won't count against your reduction due to early filing. Here's how this works. When you file early, your benefits are reduced by a reduction factor that's somewhat different depending on when you filed for benefits. The reduction factor in the first 36-month period, that's from full retirement age back 36 months, is 0.5%. For any months greater than 36, it's 0.5%. Now, if you want to simplify this and average it for a little bit of napkin math, you can just say that each month of early filing will reduce your benefit by about 0.5%. That's, again, not completely precise, but it's close enough. So for every month you didn't receive your benefit, that 0.5% is added back to your benefit at full retirement age when it's recalculated. How is the earnings limit applied? If you exceed the earnings limit, the Social Security Administration will withhold several months of benefit at a time. For example, let's say that you have a monthly benefit of $2,000 and that you'll be over the earnings limit by $10,000. With a withholding amount of $1 for every $2 over the limit, this means that $5,000 in benefits will be withheld. So they would withhold your benefit payment from January to March, and in April, your check would resume. Should you tell the Social Security Administration if you're going to be over the limit? Yes, please do. If you know you're going to be over the limit, you need to contact the administration and let them file a work report with the new estimated earnings. This may result in benefits being withheld, but I can absolutely assure you that you do not want to get into an overpayment situation and try to unravel those letters you'll receive from the administration. And some of those letters may not show up until 4 or 5 years down the road. When does the limit switch from an annual limit to a monthly limit? Well, thankfully, the Social Security Administration does recognize that some people retire mid-year after they've already had earnings that were over the annual earning limit. For these individuals, there is a monthly income limit. The Social Security website says that the monthly earnings test applies when an entitled beneficiary has one or more non-service months in a grace year. Here's what that means. In the first calendar year, you receive Social Security benefits and have a month of earnings that is less than the monthly earnings limit amount. The income limit turns into a monthly income test. It will run for the remainder of that calendar year, and after that, it's back to the annual test. Now, if you want to know the amount of your monthly income limit, you simply take the applicable annual limit and divide that by 12, and that's the amount of monthly earnings that you can have. Will the earnings limit affect spousal or children's benefits? If your benefits are stopped because you're over the limit, it will affect your benefits and any benefits paid from your benefits. So if anyone is collecting benefits from your work and you have excess earnings, their benefit will also be stopped. For example, if your wife is collecting a spousal benefit and you have excess earnings, both your benefit and her spousal benefit will be suspended. The exception to this is for an ex-spouse. If you have an ex-spouse who is collecting a spousal benefit from you and you go over the limit, their spousal benefit will not be affected. What kind of income counts as earnings? The big question that most people have about the income limit is, what actually counts as income in the eyes of the Social Security Administration? Now, while much of the ins and outs of the Social Security benefits seem designed to be confusing, in this case, the administration makes it fairly easy to understand for most types of income that's normally received. The most common types of income that will not count towards the income limit include pension payments, most annuity payments, money from IRAs and other retirement account distributions, dividends, interest income, and capital gains. The income that does count against you when considering the earnings limit includes gross wages from employment income and net earnings from self-employment. Plus, there are some additional rules on the amount of time you spend in the business if you're self-employed, but only in that first year of retirement. That's a completely different topic, though. This does address 90% of all the types of income that exist, but there are numerous other types of incomes that can cause some confusion. And for a more complete view on types of income, you really ought to check out my video, The Social Security Income Limit, What Counts as Income. I'll link that up and the article on the same topic in the description. So that covers the basics on the income limit for 2022. If you have questions, be sure and leave them down in the comments below. I don't always get a chance to respond, but I do try and read them all. And just another reminder, if you're planning to file for Social Security and you want to make sure you get all the benefits you deserve, remember, this is not a do-it-yourself project. If you want some help from my team, there's a link in the description where you can schedule your complimentary call today. So before you leave, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. Let YouTube know that it has value and that it needs to be shared with others. Thank you for watching.